In 2013, the City of Santa Barbara Creeks Division purchased a 14-acre parcel on Foothill Road along the Upper Royal Borough watershed known as Barger Canyon. This former avocado orchard is now the site of one of the largest restoration projects undertaken by the Creeks Division to date.
It's just under 5 acres and 2,200 feet of creek channel. So it's a very large project, and it's great to be able to have such a big impact on the watershed by restoring this whole section of creek.
Healthy creeks are instrumental to improving ocean water quality, while also providing important habitat for wildlife. Unfortunately, this environmentally sensitive property was degraded by past land use practices.
Our data from water sample collections that we've taken on this site show that it has unusually high concentrations of bacteria and sediment coming through the water that was flowing through this property. So we're hopeful that through doing this restoration we can reduce those levels of bacteria.
The Barger Canyon project focuses on restoring 5 acres of riparian habitat, which is the area surrounding the creek, while the other 9 acres are currently being allowed to passively return to what was historically an oak woodland. The city's purchase included 1,800 linear feet of creek and a 1-acre conservation easement over the creekside portion of the neighboring property, making a total of 2,200 linear feet of creek.
In the lower, roughly 600 feet of the creek on this section of property, it had previously been straightened, and so we're coming back in. We're going to be widening the channel and bringing back in meanders, so making the creek have some of its natural sinuosity. And this actually reduces the overall slope of the creek channel and allows for greater infiltration of storm flows.
The widening of the creek will provide an enhanced riparian habitat. Riparian zones act as a buffer between our creeks and urban areas, which helps to filter out pollutants from runoff. Vegetation in this area also reduces stream bank erosion and provides shade over creeks, which reduces water temperatures and improves water quality for fish and other aquatic organisms. Riparian zones are also critical habitat for terrestrial wildlife, providing access to water, food, and shelter for native birds and mammals.
Much of the city is an urbanized area, but we still have lots of wildlife, from small mammals, raccoons, skunks, possums, things like that. We also have bobcats and mountain lions, and on this property, deer. And so we're providing wildlife habitat for really the most valuable wildlife habitat we have available in the city.
To restore that valuable habitat, contractors removed invasive plant species as well as impervious surfaces like concrete and asphalt. The soil removed to widen the creek is being used to construct an upland wetland feature, which will provide additional wetland habitat and capture storm runoff. The project aims to restore the creek's natural function and features.
And we're going to be planting a lot of native vegetation and trees on the site. So the creek will just have a much more natural riparian function than what we were seeing before. It'll be a much healthier creek.
And the benefits won't be limited to the habitat and wildlife of the creek area. They will extend down the watershed to our beaches.
All of the surface water runoff enters the creeks, it's not treated, and runs straight out to the ocean. So by doing restoration, we can improve the water quality in our creeks and at the beaches.
The Barger Canyon Restoration Project will even help combat the effects of the drought through greater capture and infiltration of runoff.
With this property, we're above what's called the Foothill Basin, which is one of 2 of the large groundwater basins that the city uses for municipal water supply. And so we'll allow more groundwater recharge. We'll also provide some benefit for flood protection of Foothill Road and of downstream creekside areas.